there's just moments where it feels so comfortable, even if it's painful, because you've been through it already and it's the only thing that makes you feel familiar to you. And the moment that you tend to step out or try to come back into a space where you are not necessarily in living or reliving something, that can leave someone open to being vulnerable to being replaced in a sense. Because if you go out into the world and you don't know who you are, or you don't have any ID, it's easy for someone to steal your identity. It's easy for someone to add to your identity in a way where it is false or inauthentic, because you have not solidified any sort of IDs within yourself, because you're in the mode of soul restoration. You're in the mode of going to all of the DMVs and the centers and all of these places to collect and to get your IDs. So as you're doing that, you're not carrying any on you. So what do you have to prove that you're you? And this is what it can feel like metaphysically again. And there are entities out there that know this. There are entities out there that actually specifically target those who are more susceptible to not really knowing themselves. And they can very easily deposit, right? Make soul deposits into you. And what we would call that is more so false soul deposit. So it's not a real thing. It's not coming from an authentic space. It's coming from a space of, it's kind of like when we're thinking about currency or cash or fiat money. It's fake. It's false. It's not backed by anything, right? So it's kind of like that, where someone or an entity of some sort, kind of like the soul level Federal Reserve, just creates soul out of nowhere with no backing, right? It has nothing to it but whatever it's programmed to be. So literally creating out of nowhere, calling it a soul, and making these deposits into those people who are in the middle of restoring themselves. So sometimes you can mistake, because it looks like real soul. It looks like real money, right? Especially if you don't know how it really operates, how it works. So it looks the same. It kind of feels the same. But what you realize after a while is most of your true inner current is indeed restoring. You recognize what real soul feels like. You recognize what the realness feels like. So then what can happen is it can feel like there's a war declared on the inside of you, because now it feels autoimmune. It's very interesting that immune was what was coming out of that trip up of language. But it feels autoimmune. It feels like you're attacking yourself, because your true authentic soul of self does not even recognize or sees this piece of deposit inside of you as something foreign. So basically your authentic soul is just like, get out, get the fuck out. You don't belong here. And what happens when even something that was implanted within you, right? Whether you picked it up along the way, whether it was some type of actual like thing that happened to you, however it happened, that piece of soul or that deposit now feels like it belongs where it belongs. So it's going to put up a fight. And it's going to go into survival mode. And what the fuck happens when that shit happens? When you declare war on the inside and you go into autoimmune reality, there's like this dis-ease. And what happens? Let's just stop right there, because again, language. I'm bringing awareness to this, but I am not trying to bring this to life into anyone listening, nor am I trying to do this or bring this into life into myself. First, there's this level of awareness of what could possibly be happening and why you may be feeling, again, that lost feeling. So in knowing that, how do you cure this, or how do you prevent this from actually happening before it even fucking happens, especially coming into the physical realms of your body? Because one of the things when you're going through soul retrieval, you are slowly but surely coming back into your body. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to carry a lot of this dis-ease or this warlike frequency into the body, because that's when once you don't want this to trigger the cells in your body. You don't want your cells to pick up on this programming, and you don't want this to be replicated within your body. So that's why it's best to handle a lot of this emotionally and mentally, and knowing that it has a place and that it does not belong in your body if it is not well balanced.